A gentle flow that will not cease. The world may spin, but I stand.
We're going to try it again. Try it one more time. And let's see what happens. Oh, my God.
With will.
I
In the
am enough.
quiet, wisdom
I
speaks
have no idea what happened. Sorry, everybody.
through the cracks.
I'm a little rusty right now, but
I believe.
so we're gonna hit this off. Are you ready? If you can hear me, say hello. So the mind, open up your eyes. Okay, what? This intro song is nice. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Yes. We're going to transition and not sexually. I'm not transitioning sexually, just for the record. I am just here being my dorky self. And we are live and we are looking at some really cool stuff today. If you can see me, say hi, give me a thumbs up. If you can hear me, I've got the chat. It's live in here. I can see everybody in the chat. So today's topic is kind of cool. I don't know if you got a chance to check it out. It is from now to what's next. Turning loss into life's greatest plot twist. And for the record, I did take my medication, carbidopa levodopa, and but I cannot promise if I do my Stevie Wonder. If you get seasick, close your eyes and just listen, baby. Because if you see the trailer of Rockin', you can knock. It's okay, because it's just me. It's just me. There's no action. It's just me. I'm just locking and loading and rocking and rolling. Because when you've got Parkinson's and some other problems, you have a tendency to move around, and it makes it difficult for people to kind of pay attention to you. I'm not gonna lie, right? But we'll see what happens. So we are, and this is a new camera angle, by the way, because I felt like it's like at least less invasive for me to move around. So, what now? Living proof, practicing what you preach is so difficult. I've been doing this for such a long time, and now I'm going into old man wisdom, right? Even though I'm not an old man, I'm learning things so fast. I'm learning things at light speed, and yeah, I'm getting a little seasick myself. What the hell? This carbidopa levodopa is supposed to make me feel better, but not so much. So, and again, if you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Let's give it a thumbs up. Thumbs up. There's a thumbs up. I guess more thumbs up. Share this to your Facebook or wherever the frickin' hell you want to share this. I am finding faith in the chaos. I am just turning loss into one of life's great plot twists, to be honest. And again, if you're familiar with me or maybe you're not, I am Ryan Keys. And I've been doing this for a while, and I'd stepped away from the mic, literally, because I went and I started getting these symptoms, and I thought it was long COVID, and it wasn't. And this is not, I'm not ending with this, right? I'm still moving forward, but I'm putting everything that I've practiced into work in a different way than before. I've had things to overcome, like cancer and breaking my back and not being able to walk, have my face crushed, major brain damage, etc., which is what the Parkinson's from. And to be honest, it's weird, right? It's like kind of having Tourette's without the the language, right? Like sometimes I'll get like a twitch, and I think I've got like it's like, and I want to like say something so I can feel like inclusive to Tourette's, right? I'm like sitting here, I'm like, it'll be like, motherfucker, what the? It's like, but I don't need to say anything. It's just I get like a pain, and so you have to bear with me. So the Living Proof podcast, I just want to break this down as we're going forward. It is an opportunity um, to walk the talk. So you can walk with me after doing this for 10 years and helping hundreds and hundreds of people, thousands of people, in fact. And then once again, being tested, trying to find the faith in the chaos, taking this loss and really looking at it as a plot twist. And we're going to not just talk about things. This isn't a podcast any longer where it's just about talking, where it's about something that's not being practiced, right? So I'm going to try everything in order to get healed. I'm writing a book right now called The 5-Minute Miracle. So I'm going to do everything in my power to heal my body, to heal my condition, myself. And I'm going to walk through that. And if it doesn't work, fuck it. Chuck in the fucking bucket. If it doesn't work, we're not going to dwell on it any longer because we want what works and we want to get there as fast as we can. And hopefully over the course of this year, as we're doing this, I will at least find a bearable place, right, where I'll take the life's messiest, most painful moment that I've experienced and turning it into a proof of extraordinary potential, right? And today, I'm tackling the topic of universal loss because maybe you lost a job, right? Or maybe you lost your health like me, or maybe, you've lost ambition, motivation, maybe you've lost a relationship. And it can feel like everything is falling apart. And for us to fake that, for us to look at this picture perfect Instagram influencer lifestyle is just bullshit. It's all bullshit, and it's not going to help you to idolize or to try to walk that perfect line. Honestly, faking it until you make it is actually, I feel, been one of a detriment to myself, right? I can't fake wanting to take a nap. I can fake being positive and but I'm not really faking it, right? I'm just thinking back into all these things where I've gotten so much shame and weird messages from people putting me on blast for not practicing and thinking that I called this into my field. And I'll be quite honest, I would have never called Mr. Parkinson's on the phone and said, "Hey, could you sit down and let's just have some time together?" I would have never made that assessment. I would have never connected those dots. And it just, no, I wouldn't have. And I could sit here and dwell on what did I do to get here and what do I need to fix? But it's not even about that anymore. And I've really started to see that. And a lot of people are just full of shit. They're not sharing the truth with you. They're not sharing what they're having to work on in their life. And they're only sharing this PDF that's picture perfect that makes you feel fucking guilty for not being able to practice that and to get where they appear to be on Instagram, whether it's feeling good or whatever the fuck it is. They think that they're at this place, or they project it through their social media. But in real life, I know a lot of those people and they're messed up. They are just as twisted and just as upside down as so many of us. And so it doesn't really work. There is a book that I've been reading called You Are the Mountain by Brianna Weist. And then there is Mel Robbins. She's got a lot of great books. Joe Dispenza, I'm looking into that. And there's another book that I just got about living. Tony Robbins, right? Tackling things head on. So when you get faced with loss, do you lean in? Do you look away? Do you pretend it's not there? Do you pretend to be positive? How do you deal with that? It sounds like we're talking about a heavy topic, but I mean, really, I think that if we can find a place to laugh, even if we're losing something, that's the best place to be. And let's take, for instance, losing a job, right? We've all lost a job. And Lord knows, like where I'm at right now, I'm probably holding on to jobs is going to be hard. So I am going to start Patreon back up as a And I'm not asking for donations or anything like that, but this quest is going to be odd, right? So I'm going to make, because I've never had to face this kind of a disability or something that is like this. But I'm going to bring Patreon back up so we can get that support group back up. And if you want to make a donation so I can get those things in alignment, please do. You can go to the links in my bio with PayPal. But if you look at losing a job and you go from panic to possibility, right? Number one, I mean, I think let's imagine first off, you get fired, right? So you get fired. What do? It hits you in the gut. It goes to where you really, it's going to hit you where you haven't done the work, right? I mean, losing a job or getting fired is not going to hit you where you're ready. It's not going to it's not going to present itself like all poised and perfect and like an Instagram photo. It's not going to be a photo op for you. It's going to feel like shit. And it's going to hit you no matter what work you've done. It's going to hit you hard, right? And we have to be honest about that because that panic is real, feeling like you're spinning out of control, not knowing what you're going to do. How are you going to pay for things? What's next? Do I take that leap of faith? Maybe you've been looking for a job this whole entire time and unconsciously you quit before you got fired, right? Maybe you silently quit it. You silently quit your job and then somebody just caught on to that subconscious innuendo and they solidified that for you. So they're moving you forward, right? So there's this a battle of self-doubt. And then you're going to get guilt. Like I've gotten people trying to guilt me, trying to make me feel guilty for having Parkinson's and having this problem. And how did I create it, manifest it, and what can I do to not identify with it and to get healed? And that's not the way through it, right? I got to learn to love myself even if I'm here. And I didn't create this. Did I enhance it? Did I urge it on? Maybe, but who knows? But that doesn't even fucking matter, right? It doesn't matter if you created it. You're here. And thinking about all the woulda, coulda, shouldas is not going to help you work forward. So we need to reframe the situation. I imagine Peter, right, sinking in the water, and then he yells out at Jesus. He's like, Jesus, what do I do? I can't swim. I'm sinking. Give me a hand. Help me out. And Jesus is looking down at him like, damn, boy, give me a hand. And he pulls him up. He stands him back up on the water. And he's looking around. He's like, okay, we got this. Then he's ready to get back in the boat, right? He's like, let's get in the boat. So you want to poise yourself where you've got a position so that that miracle may not be somebody reaching in to grab your hand, but it might be, right? So you want to be ready to recognize anything that comes in, whether it shows up like a lightning strike or it's just a little dribble, right? You want to be ready, you want to be open, and you don't want to be focused on any kind of shame, any kind of blame. You don't need to worry why you lost your job, right? You just want to really focus on what do you need to do now. And you don't want to think too far in the future, right? Because the energy that creates the future happens now. It happens now. And then here, use humor. I'm using humor to my advantage when you have a loss, when something leans in like that. I mean, like, for instance, like if you lose your job, I mean, there's a couple things that come to mind. Number one is you will not have to partake in those odd fucking birthday parties where everyone, or those white elephant gifts. Like you won't have to go to any of those office birthday parties where the food is mediocre and everyone's standing around, you're blowing out candles and you're eating cake, but you feel like you're being fattened up to like to for like some kind of like to be like maybe sold later after work or something. And you won't have to worry about any of those crazy, I'm not going to use the word Karen, but any of those crazy kind of people that are like, like they give you a PowerPoint presentation in order to like kind of like tell you what you did wrong. You won't have to worry about that either. One of the things that I wanted to focus on is that, again, just if you get fired or something moves in like that, reframe it. That's the first part, right? Don't get lost in where or what happened. You just know that you need to get to work, right? I need to get to work with my Parkinson's, my health. Like I lost a lot of my health and my mobility, but I didn't lose my humor. I didn't lose my drive, right? I didn't lose a lot of the knowledge that I have. Maybe I lost some of it. I don't know, but I'm focused, right? I'm here. I'm present. I'm doing the podcast. I'm present. I'm not too far in the future trying to figure out, what does it look like. I'm not stuck in the past trying to allow people to put me on blast or gaslight me, thinking, well, how did I create this or manifest it? One of the real things that we're all going through, and I think that, and this is tough, is when you lose somebody, right? And this is a tough topic on how to walk that talk. And grief, your level of grief and what you're going through does not prove your level of love, right? I've gotten stuck in that even with my health, where I felt like love and grief have to be equal, right? If I'm not grieving to the level of what I felt unconsciously comfortable with, maybe that love didn't exist and I'd feel guilty, right? So I don't know if you've ever even fathomed that point at all, but think about that for a second, right? So it's bad enough that you lost someone, maybe, whether it's to death or they just dumped you. Maybe they dumped you. I don't know. Maybe they dumped you out on your doorstep after the date and it didn't go that way you thought, right? There's a lot of people that get left at the altar, and they're like, what's next, right? Go from again, we're going from what's now to what's next, right? So this is going to be a part of your story, right? So you want to integrate it, and the number one thing is that if you're dealing with anybody that's got loss, I find that write a letter to them, because you just want to seal it and you want to send it away. You don't want to think about, why would I wish, what could I say? What could I have told them? I didn't get to say this. I didn't get to tell my father I loved him when he walked out the door and never came back. And I punished myself for that for about 8 years, and it ruined my life in a lot of ways, even to today. And people aren't going to be real, influencers aren't going to be real honest with you when they talk about their life, right? They're not going to be honest with you when they say that. They're going to pretend that they've gotten through it. But I still deal with it, right? I still deal with the grief for not giving my dad the acknowledgement of saying, hey, I love you. So, and I could hold myself accountable to that, but I wrote him a letter and I just said what was in my heart. And I actually put that letter in his casket, right? And I planted that seed and let it be. And then you want to start looking at life differently, right? How can you, don't hold on to the hurt, hold on to how you're going to honor them. How are you going to incorporate that? How are you going to take that grief and turn it into goodness? How are you going to take that grief and not measure love and grief together, but how are you going to separate the grief and go through that loss, whether it's from a breakup or a real time death or job, right? Write your boss a letter. If you got fired, fuck them. Write them a letter. I mean, you don't have to mail it, but write it out, right? Let that lay into them, right? If nobody's going to read it, but don't write an email, because you might accidentally hit send, and don't send a text because that could be used against you. But yeah, write a letter and then figure out how are you going to let that hold you hostage? Are you going to let that memory continue to mess you up? Or how are you going to honor the person that you lost? How are you going to honor who you are? How are you going to change that grief into gratitude, right? Maybe you're lighting a candle. Maybe you're going to go to your favorite restaurant if you lost somebody important to you. And then, one of the things is that you're going to want to think of is how much time are you in life with anything when it comes to loss? How much time are you dedicating currently to to looking back, right? Just think about it. How much time? I dedicated a lot, but now I'm super present, and because I can barely stand up without falling down. I like went from Michael J. I went from Superman to Michael J. Fox in like freaking like 4 months, and I'm like, what the freaking hell? How is this possible? And I gotta laugh about it, but it reminds me that there's a lot of big things that people are going through in their life, and this pretty picture, these perfect pictures, Bali and big asses and all these things that people put as priority to show you, whether it's on TikTok or Facebook. All these things that people want to project generally aren't. They're external. They're superficial, and they're to impress you, or they're because they're insecure. I mean, a girl putting her big ass up on the Instagram every day is because she's either making money because that's all she thinks her value is, which that's whatever, or because she's insecure. And if a guy putting his big ass up there, same thing, right? And I'm not judging. I'm just saying there's going to come a time and a place when you're going to think your life is perfect, and it's going to be level out, right? You're going to have something come in that's going to create loss, something that's going to remind you that you're real. Life is difficult, and it's not always picture perfect, right? Like all the people when TikTok was out, you're out of time, TikTok. They're like, ah! People were like panicking because TikTok. I mean, I get it. You built a business on it, but talk about getting fired. Wow, hell, getting fired by Congress. That's crazy. So the main thing is that you're reframing your event. You want to take that loss. You want to take whatever it is that you're going through. You want to reframe it. You want to experience it. You don't want to dial down the grief or the sadness. You want to go through it, but you want to make sure that you're only going through that. That is what you're experiencing. You don't want to combine it. You don't want to localize it. And again, watch The Notebook once. Don't watch it on repeat for like 10 days if you got a breakup. Watch, what is it? What was that movie, Jennifer Aniston and Jason Bateman about bad bosses or whatever it is? Watch it once, right? Flip your boss off once. Write that dick a letter. And then move on, right? Don't get stuck. It's easy to get stuck because you're scared. I find I get stuck a lot, and I stay stuck in this comfortable feeling stuck, the comfort of feeling stuck, because I'm scared to move forward. It's like when Miley Ray Cyrus, or it's like when you see like Katy Perry, she's like, I can't. I'm trying to stand still. I couldn't. No, I had to fight. Like I had to fight with every thought in my brain to stand still. But and use humor, right? Use humor to help you reframe it. Most of what you're feeling is a little bit of an illusion. Most of what you're feeling in a sense of loss, you're going to make up. You're going to pull in a lot of different layers from everything you've lost before, and they're going to find a home here because most likely you've repressed your emotions, like myself, for a long time. And whenever there is a special event, they all come to the surface and they're like, surprise! That wedgie when you were 8 years old, I'm here. That breakup right before the dance, I'm here. That fart in church on the front row, I'm here. It all shows up at once because it's just like waiting for that special moment, that special event to say, surprise, gotcha. So make sure you're only experiencing the grief or the loss or the frustration or the anger of what it is what's on deck, right? Don't try to add to it. And it would tempting, right? Because comfort, you don't want to go forward, you want to get stuck. And yeah, if it's lost, file for unemployment, sue them or whatever. But don't get sidetracked. Don't let that become your story. If it's a sickness like myself, yeah, I'm dealing with it. I walk weird, and my patients look at me funny, and I'm dealing with it, right? My phrase is "Don't rock the boat" because I'm going to do it for you. You don't have to rock the boat. I'm going to be the one that does it. Don't worry about it. I'm literally rocking the boat. Control what you can, right? I think that's important, right? Like control what you can. And again, make sure you're experiencing the right emotion. Make sure you're experiencing the right thing. Don't allow yourself to get sidetracked and just take all the accumulation of all the things that you have repressed and let it reunite with this one moment. It's like when your boyfriend doesn't take the trash out once, and then suddenly it's like he's an ogre, and every time he hasn't taken the trash out, he's ever picked his nose, farted, or whatever it is, haven't didn't text you like for 2 days. All of it comes out like it's like a demon. It's like The Exorcist, right? It's all that in one time. Don't do that. That's going to prevent you from realigning your frequency, right? Realigning your energy, getting you to the future. And what we want to do is we want to focus on getting you to the future as fast as possible. We want you to get that 5-minute miracle. And the idea is that, control what you can, let go of what you can't with a little sense of humor, right? When in doubt, go fart joke, right? Family Guy, make it juvenile. I would say, and this is going to sound cliche, right? Don't lose your faith in other people. I've said this before, right? Like when it comes to God or church or Jesus or love, don't judge your creator. Don't judge love. Don't judge kindness by the people that couldn't make that word come alive, right? Because that's not fair to the future. That's not fair to other people. Don't judge your future job by people. Don't judge God by what Christianity or religions may have done. Don't judge a creator. Don't get angry at God because other people don't get it. Don't give up on love because you feel lost right now. Maybe you're hurting. Maybe you're feeling lost. Don't give up on love. Because the truth about doubt is that doubt's not proof that you're failing. It's proof that you're growing, right? So when you're able to deal with doubt, when you're able to have these things happen to you, where they cause pause, and you have these questions, like right now, I've got doubt, and that actually means that I'm growing. I doubt what I'm doing right now. I doubt, is this even helpful? Will this even go anywhere? Do people even want to listen to somebody's advice that had a perfect life and had things in a row and never practiced what they preached until now? Do people want to hear that? Do people want that kind of level of realism? Do people want to face that kind of thing? I believe so. And I get doubts, right? Am I doing the right thing? Is this going to make a difference? But it does for me. So what I'm doing right now is as much for me as it is for you, right? Wherever you're at. Because I've realized that I've got a lot of work to do, and I've got to do what it takes to rise one step at a time, one day at a time. And for me, this is my miracle, is to continue and pick up the torch and help people and be an example, even though I'm in the midst of the greatest challenge I've ever experienced in my life, right? This is the fact that I can tell a joke and laugh, and this is the greatest obstacle I've ever faced in my life, right? This is bigger than cancer. I mean, because this is a slow burn. But I believe I can be healed, and I'm not gonna. Don't let me be a Debbie Downer on this one. And not that Debbie's not a downer, but that's just the phrase, right? Don't let me be a downer, and I'm not looking for sympathy. What I'm doing is I'm bridging into a place of realness and truth. For those of you that may not know, that's called vulnerability. It's called vulnerability. Where it's not weakness. This isn't about being weak. This is about a level of strength that allows you to move forward with faith and humor and grit, because I'm still here. Because I'm still here. I'm still hanging on and hanging out and doing what I can. I'm still, like Tony Robbins even talks about, right? I'm I know that I need to be in purpose and in service to make things move forward. And I know that my healing, you see, I've even helped people pass away. Hey, Bubba, my baby Frenchie that you see in my videos. I've seen people pass away and they were praying for a miracle and it didn't happen. And I've seen people healed. I've got someone that I know that was healed of brain cancer and it just miraculously. So I know that things can happen either way. The person that died of cancer is no less and less deserving of our respect and appreciation, and to the honest of the person that didn't. Right. So I think there needs to be a distinction that this, life. There's so many things that are competitive in life, but love is not one of them. And learning about yourself, it's not a competition. It's a gift. And the miracle may not be that I become healed, that I don't move anymore, that my Parkinson's stops. That might not be the miracle. I might continue to get worse, right? And I don't believe I will, but I might. I don't know. And I'm not going to hold myself hostage to an outcome. I'm going to be present and have humor and have that heartfelt, actionable way of awareness about myself, and I'm going to keep a tone that's relatable to reality and not set myself up for disappointment. I'm going to set myself up for success by living each day as a miracle. And if I am healed, see, a miracle isn't being healed. A miracle is when you recognize that you are more than what you thought. A miracle is when you recognize everything that you're thankful for, even though you're fighting a battle. A miracle is when you realize that you have a creator and you're not just some cauldron of cellular soup, right? A miracle is when you are able to look in the mirror and see more good than bad. A miracle is when you can actually look at yourself and say, I love myself. You don't have to like things about yourself. You don't have to, there's things that we all want to change, but loving yourself, even though those things exist. The miracle, like when I saw someone die and they were praying for a miracle, I told them the miracle is that you lived a life, even though you're passing away. And the parents were not happy with that, right? They were putting a lot of pressure on the person being healed. As I've gotten a lot of pressure from people that I need to focus on my healing and not be careful with my words and be careful with my walk and be careful how I project myself and be careful with what I'm aligned to. And I know all of that. But at some point, when you're going through something, you have to have a certain level of realness. You have to have a certain level of vulnerability with yourself, a certain level of appreciation with yourself. You just can't sit here and pretend and put all these things, and put polish on shit, right? I mean, if I don't, how am I going to find that grit to keep going? How am I going to get to that open door where that miracle is going to exist? How am I going to get to that level where Joe Dispenza is talking about if I don't approach this with a realness? I can't pretend my way to healing. I can't fake it to make it. It has to be formed inside of me. I have to find that foundation to plant that seed and then foster it to make it real. So, and again, our topic today for this episode is about, dealing with loss and, from what now to what's next and turning loss into one of life's greatest plot twists where you can learn how to lean in. And a lot of people are feeling lost right now. A lot of people have lost a lot of things. And I believe that if we come together and live a real life and we step into our greatness, no matter what we're going through, And don't hide it. Don't hide things that you feel are your weakness, right? Don't hide those beautiful pieces of you. If you feel fat, don't hide it. If you feel short, don't hide it. If you feel ignorant, don't hide it, right? It's, I hid behind a smile. I hid behind my knowledge. I hid behind the information that I was able to acquire about spirituality. Don't hide anymore. Just come out and be who you are, because that's the fastest path forward to figure it out, to create a miracle, to tap into being a miracle. Because again, the whole point of the 5 Minute Miracle, the book that I'm working on, it's not that it's a healing. It's not a magic carpet ride, right? It's like, hello, Aladdin. It's not like, I'm not talking about a magic carpet ride. I'm talking about a miracle. I'm talking about the miracle of finding grace and gratitude and finding love where you live right now. I'm talking about finding the strength to stand in the gap. I'm talking about when you don't know what else to do, where you don't know where else to turn. I'm talking about finding that moment where you know that you are a miracle, and where you can take that and create momentum behind it. Where every morning for 5 minutes, you are able to appreciate at least being something, someone, a person that has potential, that has purpose, that is here on purpose, an impossible possibility, right? So that's where we are. Let me just look into the crowd a little bit. Who is here still? Is anybody here? We got a lot of people in. And I'm going to play this song in the background.
I let it be. Faith restores. I can't see.
Hang on.
I am enough.
I wrote this song,
Complete.
and
Every step, my soul's
I'm going to share it with you guys. I shared it on Instagram.
trials and storms. Our eyes I grow.
We're going to react to it together.
By love,
Hang on. We're going to react to it together. You ready?
Here in this moment, let your spirit glow. The weight you carry, lay it down with care. You held your home in the sacred prayer. Grateful for the rising sun. A new beginning has begun. The past is gone, the wounds can heal. Your strength is greater than you feel. I am enough, I am complete. In every step, my soul's heartbeat.
Surrender.
Through trials and storms,
Gratitude
eyes I grow.
and surrender.
Guided by love, I'll always know. Every breath, a bridge to peace. A gentle flow that will not cease. The world may spin, but I stand still. Centered in grace, aligned
I don't know if you
with
can hear it. I
will.
hope you can.
In the quiet, wisdom speaks. Through the cracks, the light it leads. I release, I let it be. Faith restores what I can't see. I am enough, I am complete. In every step, my soul's heartbeat. Through trials and storms, our eyes I grow. Guided by love, I'll always know.
So that is
Quiet wisdom speaks through the cracks, the light it leaves. I release, I let it be. Faith restores what I can't see. I am enough, I am complete in every step, my soul's heartbeat.
So that song I wrote, this is my boy. And I trained him to be a service dog actually for the past 2 years, unknowingly, not knowing I was going to be going through this. And so he can fly with me. And it's just kind of a crazy happening, almost like my subconscious was preparing me and planning for this somehow. He's my PTSD dog, but I'll tell you, PTSD and Parkinson's go hand in hand because, yeah, I never thought I would be, I thought I was good. I thought, hey, um, now's my time, right? And like I said, I had to grieve. I cried. Oh man, I disappeared. Um, I, and I'll have a day like that occasionally, but it was difficult, right? Because I've always been so much more than at least what I thought. And then I realized, so I grieved. I had to grieve that version of myself because it died. And then I found a new version of myself, one that is so much more down to earth and so much more open and really actually so much more positive and powerful, even though I'm going through this. And I just never would have thought that, right? I would have never thought that it would have increased my love that much more. But it did, and it has. And so I'm living proof that you can be living the perfect life and really so far from your potential when it comes to inside, right? You want to get down, Bubby? Here you go. I love you, bub. And what you can be so far from your potential. Thank you for that. You can be so far from your potential, um, even when you think you're living, you look perfect, you look great, all these other things, right? It's like, when you show up at a dance or you show up at something and you look perfect, you got the great outfit on, but inside you just feel like, yeah, I don't really want to be there. Now, when you can lock in and get to that next level, you feel perfect, you feel connected, and how you look on the outside or how you're approaching things with the physical world is a lot less important. So you're showing up synchronized in alignment already, right? So for those of you that are going to take this journey with me, we're going to do it. We're going to dive into this old man wisdom. We're going to talk about, a lot of topics. I got a lot of things we're going to discuss. I've laid out a lot of different things in different directions. Next time we're going to talk about the idea of the 5-minute miracle. 5 minutes to begin to manifest change in your life, because I've been doing that religiously right now. And I'm making headway. And again, the miracle is not that I'm going to be healed, right? The miracle is not that my Parkinson's or that my body will change. That's a perk of the miracle. The miracle is that I find the connection with God. I find the connection with the earth, with the universe. I find within myself the strength and the beauty and where I no longer question my authenticity, where vulnerability is intertwined in everything I do. That's the miracle, right? And once you begin to understand that, things start to change and shift. And if healing my physical body is one of those, I'll receive it and I accept it. And but it's I'm not demanding it. God, if you can give it to me, fantastic. But just help me stay on track with living as a miracle every day. So I'm going to call it a night. Thank you for being with me on the Living Proof podcast pioneer episode, official episode 1 tonight. I'm going to take this recording and put it on Spotify. And we're going to do this once a week and see where it goes. And if you want to support this mission, if you are want to come over to Patreon, I haven't started it up yet where we're moving forward, but you can go ahead and sign up. I'm going to work on that tonight. And all of your donations and all those things will help me to put those in order. And I'm not going to lie. What I'm going through right now is so costly that I never even thought, but I have faith, and I know that we're all one. So peace, light, and love. Have a beautiful, wonderful evening. And if you need prayer, if you need intercession, if you need connection, take the opportunity to leave in the comments section either something that you feel thankful for that you're experiencing a miracle with, or something that you want people to agree with you on, some kind of prayer, right? Let's use that comment section for those purposes, because we're going to do that, right? So peace, light, and love. Have a beautiful evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I am going to leave you with the outro intro. Here we go.
Dreams within reach, it's time to rise. Body, soul, and mind, open your eyes. Climbing higher, step by step, real talk, no regrets get set. One